Welcome to another episode of the Connecting Through Technology podcast, powered by Intellacall. I'm your host, Jonathan Kaur, and today I have the privilege of speaking to Doug Lehman, a sales media consultant at Layman's Terms. Doug is a business development professional that is passionate about sales, digital media, and video for generating sales results. He specifically specializes in story selling video projects for sales and service leaders. Welcome to the show, Doug.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. I'm looking forward to talking virtual selling, video, and a whole lot more.
Awesome. Well, let's kick it off right away, just to kind of set the foundation for this conversation. I wanted to ask you this initial question: how did you get started in sales, Doug?
Well, went to college, got a degree in marketing, and the lines get blurred sometimes, unfortunately, and always been fascinated about doing presentations and talking to people, and sales was an avenue to present to people and promote products and services. So sales was kind of my first job really out of college in a sense. So the marketing degree, sales was an avenue to be a presenter. So that's really helping and serving people and being able to present. So providing solutions. That's kind of it in a nutshell. A little bit of speaking involved with selling. And that's how I started in sales.
Awesome. Well, just to unpack the actual summary bio that I just gave, as I was entering this conversation, there's a specific thing that you're focused on called story selling video. And so I wanted to allow for you to explain what that means and what that is to the audience, to kind of allow for us to build upon, what is going to be a lot of our dialogue today.
Sure. What I meant by story selling video, and the first word here is story, and the second word here is selling, leveraging video to help sell and being able to sell, do presentations. There's always a story involved. People resonate more with stories sometimes than facts or data, which is very important. But being able to share a story selling, so storytelling, story selling, but being able to engage your audience, especially now in this virtual world with video. And I put the two words together, but you hear presenters, trainers, stories resonate. People remember stories, and that form of selling can resonate to closing more deals. So, and the component that I use is video. So you put story, video together, and sales, and it's kind of all rolled up into one. And that's the parameters that I play in when I present through different channels, whether it's video or social networking sites, etc.
Yeah, so let's begin unpacking that a little bit. Specifically when it relates to the benefits of video. I wanted to allow for you to share a little bit of the benefits of sales professionals specifically using video in comparison to other means, like the phone call. You have email. You can DM somebody directly on LinkedIn. What are the benefits for video?
I think one of the things right now, let's just say, I'll talk pre-COVID, pre-pandemic. I'm putting it out there. And now the idea of video separates it from a text or audio, is it gives you those visual elements. It gives you more, I want to say, story selling content. But if you've got a B2B complex problem or issue that you're trying to address to a client or a customer, in most cases, video is a great component because a lot gets lost in translation when it comes to text. So message complexity through video simplifies it. The big thing is the humanistic approach. We can't meet face-to-face right now, okay, as much. So video, I hate to say it, is the next best thing to being there, but it humanizes our face-to-face encounters through video. So message complexity, it simplifies it, having that human element. And the last thing is really standing out using video messaging and video email. Now it's becoming the norm now. A few years ago, it was something a little bit different. It stood out in your email box. Another thing would be emails. You're trying to get calls to action, or better yet, you're trying to get returns from your emails when you send out an email. And video is a great tool to intrigue, to engage, to entice people. So the human elements, making it simplified and reach, and those are kind of like the two main components, and being able to repurpose the content, which we can get into later through video.
Yeah, and I think you touch on a good point as far as it being a good avenue to be human, because I think right now there was somebody I was having on the podcast. They shared a stat. I think it's around 121 emails people receive from like a cold outreach, type context. And so I guess in a sense, this helps you stick out from the majority who maybe have resistance towards being a friend of a video in this context here, and instead trying, like you said, formulate the right messaging, the right offering, so that way you can hopefully engage and take them to the next step of your sales funnel.
You made a good point on that too, because there's a lot of statistics out there that putting video in your message or your email increases the open rates, the click rates, and all that. I'm not going to throw a bunch of numbers at you. You can Google that information, but it is factual that video does help engage better interaction for your messaging. We can throw numbers at, they change, but I don't want to say, okay, I quote HubSpot, I'm quoting Cisco, I'm quoting Forrester. Just Google it through video.
Yep, for sure. There's a lot of statistics out there. And so I wanted to ask you, when, where, how should sales professionals consider, using video? So maybe let's start specifically with where are specific areas in their sales process that they can incorporate video?
Okay, so where, and then I want to kind of fall back on that question too, because it has to be where the context of the message applies. Because in some cases, you're not going to leverage video for a quick response. It may be a one-word email or a text. So where video is necessary, the answer I'm going to say is everywhere where you can engage and video makes sense, from pre-sales to post-sales, the customer follow-up, to having your clients do testimonials, from inbound video to outbound video. In other words, I'm all about video from the initial interaction to closing, and then even following up with a client or customer in the sales process that's gone dormant, that you haven't even talked to. So I'm using video as the go-to resource for communication at all levels. Now, when you don't use video, the fallback would be is when it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense when you get a 1 or 2 word response, or they don't have access to video. There's other ways to communicate, but I'm all on board with video. And people always talk about video for prospecting on the front end. I'm looking at video from a touch point, from pre-sales to post-sales and beyond. So everywhere.
Yep.
That it applies to.
Exactly. Yeah. So obviously it takes a level of, I guess, emotional intelligence to be aware, as far as kind of reading the room or reading each individual,
Sure.
And then, I guess, tailoring it to that specific use case scenario. So Doug, how do sales professionals use video? Like, when should it be, I guess, recorded? When should it be live? Or when should it be a meeting? And, I guess those 3 specific segments within video.
Well, it depends. You can use it in grouped with text, audio as well. So it could be a multiple touch point too. So it doesn't have to be video, it has to stand out. But you can use video for, let's just say you were back in the day when we traveled and we had trade shows, right? You follow up with your customers. Well, we can't do that right now. So sending a video message as a prospecting video, or as a cold outreach or a cold calling video message, it makes you stand out more than a cold call on the phone. So that visual element. So we're on the front end of that. How? Customer follow-up, case studies, video proposals. You're interacting with clients now, and you have to do a demo. Video can play in that space. So I like to think that video could be a standalone for these. It's a great way to stand out. Like I said earlier, stand out, humanize it, be different, get their attention, because we're competing for time and attention, and video can help streamline that. At the same point, if I send you an email, maybe I can follow up with a video message, or better yet, if I call you on the phone and leave you a voice message, I could tee it up with, by the way, I've sent you a video message at 3:13 on Friday, Eastern Standard Time. Just wanted to make sure it didn't go to your spam. So I want you to think about, not you in general, multi-touch points for video, complementing text, direct message, chat, written forms, smoke signals, whatever, however you engage, and also make it a standalone component. They play well together. It's not one or the other. It can be used, like as I said earlier, across the whole sales cycle, but being able to engage when you really want to get that personalized, direct connect.
I believe you just conveyed it really well, as far as trying to encompass the overall sales strategy, because there isn't there isn't only one method, or there isn't. Yes,
exactly.
Although you are passionate about video, and I do agree as well, all the benefits as far as that, like, you have so many tools in your toolbox. Use them all and try and leverage, and like you said, create multi-touch points to try and engage, and obviously get your prospect or lead or customer to engage with you on a deeper or more I guess personalized level. And so I wanted to ask you just to kind of unpack a little bit for the audience specifically. When I added you or connected with you on LinkedIn, you sent me a video right away introducing yourself to me
Right.
through that. So I wanted to ask you, what are some of Doug Lehman's processes for your own business as far as like where you use video and how you personalize it and how you go through actually like implementing that strategy within your own business so people can have an idea as far as what it looks like?
I'll walk you through a scenario. Well, with that video that I sent you, we connected on LinkedIn, and I sent you really wasn't a personalized video. It was like there's like three categories I like to say: one-to-one personalization, one to few, like you're personalizing it to a group of people, let's say the auto industry or something, and then one to many, which is a general broadcast video that can go to anybody. What I kind of gave you was kind of a broadcast message. It was like, hey, Jonathan, thanks for connecting on LinkedIn, even though I didn't mention your name, but it was like thanking you for connecting. And it wasn't necessarily all that personalized. It was more of a canned broadcast message. But I did in the body of the message, I said, one, glad we're connected. I'm looking forward to following your content. And then in the middle of that, I kind of talked a little bit about what I do. And then I wanted to make it back to you. I wasn't making it into an advertising thing, the pitch and connect stuff. But then if I normally follow up with more of a personalized video message where I would come back to you and have your logo in the background, or I would talk about something that would resonate with you, because is the message content's got to deliver value. It's got to, what's in it for the viewer? What's in it for Jonathan if I send him that message? I think the first thing I did in that video was just a cam message, just to create an awareness. Now I'll probably send you one down the road where it'll be a little bit more personalized, maybe about this project we're working on right now. So you got to think about the context of the message. One to many, one to few, or one to one. And then when you go one to one, that's more value driven. That takes a little bit more work.
We hope you're enjoying today's episode. Here's a quick shout out to today's sponsor. Intellacall is a video software that connects your customers with anyone in your organization with just one click from your website. But in a world filled with video software, why should you consider Intellacall? I'll tell you why using one word: simplicity. Intellacall allows you to connect via video without downloading any software, sending any meeting IDs, or passwords. On top of that, Intellacall integrates directly onto your website, so if any customers or prospects want to get in contact with you directly, they can do just that. For more information on Intellacall or to schedule a demo, please visit us at www.intellacall.com. And now, back to today's episode. How do you keep people's attention and really focus on what's in it for them type of approach when you're creating these types of videos? Because I'm sure you want to keep them short and sweet and to the point, because the last thing you would want to do is give them a 5-10 minute video and they're like, yeah, I'm not going to watch this. So what's the best way to keep a person's attention with video?
Well, first thing is kind of timestamp it. Let them know what's in the video through text. Hey, Jonathan, I created this video for you. We're going to talk about story selling content for the construction business. Minute and 32 seconds long. Here are a few key takeaways. Keep it short, and also make it short from a standpoint that more than likely they're probably watching or looking at that message on their phone, because we got to mobilize. Because if you start writing a bunch of words in an email, then what's the point of doing the video? And first of all, nobody's going to read it anyway. So being able to have a few bullet points, a few talking points to summarize it. Then the call to action would be, hey, give me a good thumbnail. Make it appealing to Jonathan. Maybe I'm putting Jonathan's company logo on there. I'm not going to overly stalk, but I'm going to research you. And I'm going to give you like, okay, that's about me. Okay, that guy didn't just do a generic automated campaign video, which we talked about earlier. He or she actually put in the work to personalize it. So you got to get their attention. You got to leverage the text. And another way, if they didn't look at it, get on the phone, leave them a voice message, and tee them up with a multi-touch point to watch the message. And always up the value on every touch point. You know that in sales and every cold call. I kind of do the story. Each time you got a chance to engage, up the value, create that story so they want to call you back or respond.
Exactly. And I think I think those are some key points that, anybody can take away, whether it is for sales or even content creation. I think I've seen content creators who may create content that's longer than what it needs to be and trying to make it as focused and as to the point as possible, unless it's a specific type of, let's say, a reality show type content or whatever, then people watch. But if it has to do with business, keep it to the point.
Yeah, keep it to the point. But when you go with a longer format, long form video, there's a good thing to do if you were on a live call or a longer video. Chop that up into shorter clips of video, just like this interview. There might be a part in this interview that might be really good or interaction, hopefully, that you can chop that up into a 30-second soundbite and share that to somebody if it's on a specific topic. Because again, I go back, time and attention. I don't want to
Exactly.
spend time. There's a lot of things that I could watch besides Doug Lehman talking in a video message to me, right now.
Yep, and just to kind of illustrate for for the listeners out there who can't see the video content to today's conversation, Doug is currently in his own studio. He's got a green screen background. He has obviously a nice graphic behind him. He has his mic, and obviously you have good lighting. You have all, and so the reason I'm saying this is because production value matters, especially today, because we can't have this in-person interaction. And honestly, one of the things I noticed is I think prospects and people, like when people connect with you on video, I think they instantly have biases or judgment calls based off of what you look like, how you're presenting yourself, and different aspects like that. So instead of asking you specifically why production value matters, it's mainly why, what sort of tools and I guess aspects of production should sales professionals really look to invest in and really focus on?
Okay, from a production standpoint, upping the level, I'll touch on that in a second. But at some points, people want to say, I just want to have video that looks real and authentic. And there's a point where you don't want to overproduce it. Okay, in this case, people that can't see this, I've got my green screen and I've got the city of Atlanta in the background representing the ATL, and I got my logo in the background in layman's terms, visual elements and that. But production value, because right now we're faced with more and more video content than ever doing this. So how do you stand out against the competition? It doesn't take a lot of it takes time. It does take, I should say, it does take some effort to learn this. I've got a decent mic. You've got a decent mic. You have good sound quality. But the best thing is to experiment and practice. Practice, get your reps in with the content, and practice with your coworkers. People always have this fear of getting started with video. So practice your production. Hey, how'd you like this look, coworker Bob? Does it look good? Now I added this element. You don't want to be too cheesy with it, but you got to get your reps in. You don't want to, paralysis by analysis, that whole phrase where you're not doing anything. So production, lights, camera, action. But the context of your message is so important. I could have the fanciest looking studio, but if my message doesn't mean anything to you, the viewer, or the targeted customer, it doesn't matter. Audio, yeah. Get, you can use your cell phone in a quiet area where the wind's not blowing, or you can get a lavalier mic, plug it in. You can, and the best way to find all this stuff, you can visit me, talk to you, or just go to Google and type in how to do video messaging. Video search. Video is a great tool for social watching. It's a whole other topic, but yeah, lights, camera, action, have it well lit, and get your reps in. Hopefully I had addressed it. I mean, I could really get into the gear, but I'm simplifying it in layman's terms.
Yep, exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way of approaching it, especially like, I guess, expanding on, the messaging piece. Like, obviously we don't want to lose sight of the main goal, which is to sell, which is to connect, which is to engage. And so I think if we get, like you said, too focused on all making everything sound or look good, but we're actually not doing a good job of actually utilizing that to make great video content or engaging with the prospects and customers, then we're missing the point. So I wanted to ask you one question before we close out this conversation is,
sure.
So I don't know if you've talked to people who struggle with being in front of video. They're nervous, they're fearful, they're all these different things. I'm sure you've heard that. And so I wanted to ask you, what are some of the best ways to tackle the fear about being on video?
Well, you've got one of these things. Most people in the world have what's called a cell phone. Not to be funny, but practice recording yourself on your cell phone, or you can say, go in the mirror and practice, but just put on the camera, turn it around, do a selfie, and practice doing that. And then do short messages. The shorter is in and out. On LinkedIn, there's LinkedIn stories. We can get a LinkedIn video message on another call. I'd love to engage with you on that. But you can do 15-second videos. And once you get those down, like, okay, boom, I ramble that out. Hey, and the message could be, hey, it's Thursday. I just want to thank all my connections for connecting this week. Have a great weekend. You just did a video. You just practiced it. Eventually you'll get more key. So getting your reps in. I had a coach tell me that, get your reps in. Don't overanalyze it. So, and then practice sharing the video content to your closest friends, coworkers before you go out to a client that you want to make a really good first impression on. The word is impression, and it's your first one. So practice on your cell phone. Start out with some simple videos, Facebook videos, Facebook chats. You got a webcam. Practice in a safe space.
Practice.
You'll get more comfortable, and you'll get more comfortable, and get some evaluation. I mean, we get caught up in life in general. I do a lot of interviewing, and I've caught myself getting in ruts on certain things that I'm doing that I don't realize. So you always want to self-analyze. Don't beat yourself up, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. And so as we close out this, conversation today, Doug,
Sure.
I wanted to ask you, do you have any final thoughts on the topic of virtual selling, specifically with video that we may have not covered today?
Well, I think the thing, and we kind of covered in the beginning, is I want people to think about it's where you can do video, not where you can't do video. I want video to be the be all to end all. I don't mean to be, people think, well, I can do a video. No, you can do video for just about anything. Think about where you don't want to do video. And that's where a simple text message would be. Get your reps in. Think about video from a multi-touch point using text, audio, and email working together so you get better engagement. And also video beyond prospecting. Everything, video for selling, video for prospecting. Having your customers do a video for your business as testimonials, that's the best sales team out there, because I can talk, or you can talk how great your business is, but having your clients or customers do videos on your behalf, one, it cuts down on production time. Plus, you're leveraging a customer testimonial from an advocate client of yours. So video testimonials, video proposals, think about video everywhere in the sales process. I guess I'll sum it up with that. But, there's so many components of video recaps after you do a sales call. Simplify it. You get better at doing video messaging than you will typing an email at times.
Yep.
Once you get comfortable.
Exactly. Yep, for sure. And so
more efficient. It's more efficient. It can be.
Yep. It can be. Just practice, obviously figure out your production value as far as where you want that to be, and ultimately figure out what your actual process is to actually engage in every stage of the sales funnel. And so if people are interested in learning more about you, Doug, what are some of the best ways to connect and find you?
Well, simply, my last name is Lehman. First name is Doug. Google me, put in a video search, DougLehman.com. Socialsellingvideo.com is my other website. I've got a couple other domains, but that Doug Lehman, LinkedIn, Twitter, and I have a space in YouTube, but just search for me that way. That's the quickest way. I'm an open networker on LinkedIn, love to connect, and I'll probably send you a personalized video message when we connect. And, don't pitch and connect, just bring value with your story. So that's my parting shot with that.
Well said. Well, thank you so much, Doug, for coming on the podcast and sharing your insight on video selling, virtual selling, sales, sales professionals leveraging video, and really anything and everything about virtual selling. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. And obviously you have a lot of expertise, specifically since you have your own business in this specifically, and also you're working with different customers and people on different projects around this. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your insight today.
You're welcome. I appreciate the dialogue, John.